Hello and welcome again for the Unit 4 round of your interaction program for the paper. Let's begin with question number 1. Once again, as usual, language study. Number 1, it was make a meaningful sentence by using the phrase to diagnose. And I have written here accept meaningful sentence with the phrase to diagnose. Any correct sentence, any meaningful sentence that you write with to diagnose has been given correct. But if the sentence is grammatically wrong, or if the sentence has been framed in a wrong meaning, if the meaning does not come out, then probably you will not get marks in that. So you have to see that the meaning of to diagnose should come out. Okay, you can use diagnosed, you can use diagnose, you can use as a diagnosed, any form here with the typical word, but the meaning should be okay. Now, one. Find two hidden words of minimum four letters from the word concentration. Concentration, I have given two words here, neat and tat. You can make any other word using any letter, but the letter has to be used only once, okay? You cannot use a letter twice. So using these letters once, if there are this, for example, N is repeated here in this word. So you can use N two times here. Otherwise, you cannot use any other word twice. T you can use twice. You can use TENT, tent you can write. So you can make such words, correct words of four letters from this given word. Now, if you go to the third question, it is write two past participles in which the last letters are doubled. So I have given you an example here, skipped and shipped. You can use any other word where the last letter is doubled in a past participle form. Okay, then spot the error. The sentence given was the news are not true. Although it seems to be a plural, but news is used as singular. So the verb that agrees with the verb news is is. So the news is not true is correct. Fifth question is pick out the infinitives from the following sentences. One infinitive there. I will tell you what to do. So to do you have to underline. When you are please remember you have to copy the complete sentence first. You have to write the sentence, you have to underline the infinitive. Just don't write to do. And that's not you what you to do, and then to do you have to underline. This is how you write any answer for this kind of a question. Pick out. Okay. Then the next sentence rewrite. So you have to write the sentence again. Begins with inverted commas. Maybe you are, that apostrophe comma has to be inserted. Inverted comma, Matu Raju are capital for 1 mark. Okay. Complete the following accept. So here I have taken talk, kick. You can take any two verbs in a chain, in a word chain. 8 is plastic bags choke the drains. The drains were choked by plastic bags. Sentence number 9. Use the following word as an adverb in your own sentence. Outside. Now it can be used as adverb of place. So you can use outside in a sentence. That was very easy for 1 mark. Again, it has to be grammatically correct without any wrong spelling. Sentence number 10. That's the best thing that has ever happened to me. Change into positive degree. Nothing ever happened to me is as good as that. Was as good as that. That's the best thing that has ever happened to me. So nothing ever happened to me was as good as that. That is the answer. Now, question number 2A. Read the given passage and do the following activities. First is complete the web activity. Let's see what are the answers, because the web was supposed four options here, which were blanks given, and in the center it was written the writer's friend ate and drank. So that was very simple because the whole passage gave you certain things which you can write. There was asparagus, coffee, peach, ice cream. So I think these four things, if you write, you get the answer correct. Now the answer, second question was, the terrible thing happened. Describe the narrator's emotions at this point in the story. So what was the terrible happened? Describe the narrator's emotion. The answer I have given here. The writer was frustrated with the friend's way of eating things one after another. He knew he could not afford, yet he couldn't stop her. He had somehow come into terms with the weird way the friend ate. He thought that the meal would end with coffee and ice cream, but the friend picked up those unseasonal, expensive peaches. He calls it a terrible thing, as he had hardly any money to pay for it. Now, this question is supposed to be an interpretative question. So, you cannot directly use the lines from the text. You have to write it in your own words. Take the points from the passage and write it, frame it properly, compile it into your own words. Reasoning, if reason is required, you have to give the reason. Here, you have to give the reason because you are describing the narrator's emotions at this point of the story. Activity 3 now. Activity 3 question is find 4 pairs of collocations from the passage and write. So you have these 4 pairs of collocations: large mouthful, a terrible thing, large basketful, thoroughly believe. Okay. So here you will find that the first kind of collocation, large mouthful, is adjective noun, terrible thing, adjective noun, large basketful, adjective noun, and thoroughly believe is adverb verb. So there are combinations of these verbs which come often, which are used often. They are called as collocations. So like that, you have to find out collocations from the text. Fourth is activity 4 is do as directed. First question was in do as directed. Are you still hungry? I asked faintly. Write in reported speech. The answer is I asked faintly if she was still hungry. You can even say if he was still hungry because it is not contextual, so you don't know whether it's he or she. Okay. Next sentence is one should always get up from the meal feeling one could eat little more. Find the modal auxiliary and state what it indicates. Should is the modal auxiliary and could is the modal auxiliary. Now it was expected here because it contains only one mark. It was expected that you find out only one modal auxiliary here. So if you write should, you have to state that it is indicating advice, and if you're writing could, you have to indicate it is state that it is indicating ability. Okay. So this you have to pay attention to. Now, do you agree with the narrator's friend that one should eat one thing at a time? If you see this one, then you have to accept any reasonably correct. We have accepted any reasonably correct answer. But what do you usually write in such kind of an open-ended question? Because this is an open-ended question. So, do you agree with the narrator's friend that one should eat one thing at a time? If you feel that it is yes, you write yes. I feel that the narrator's friend is right while saying when she says one should eat one thing at a time. Then you have to justify your answer. Why did you say yes? If you say no, whenever we are hungry, we can eat. If you say that, then you have to justify your answer. Whether here you can, because it's an open-ended question, you can respond positively or respond negatively. Avoid respond negative responses because it is very difficult to justify. When you give negative responses. So whenever you give positive responses, it is very easy to justify. But it is not necessary that you always have to be positive. If you believe that this is right, you say yes. If you don't believe that this is right, say no. Only these types of questions. Okay, when the questions are open ended, your personal response is accepted in both ways, provided you justify it properly. Okay, so now let's go to the next question. That is question number 3. Now question number 3 says read the given extract and do the following activities. He took the paper and I watched and saw him peep within. This is the poem Height of Ridiculous, extract given from the poem. So the servant peeped within the lines written in the paper. Now what has been done is usually what we do is we just find out lines from the extract and we put it down in the questions in the form of answers. That will not be accepted. You have to change the lines, or maybe you have to write the lines from the poem but in your own way. When you are using this, the servant peeped within the lines written in the paper. In the poem it is given and saw him peep within. At the first line he read, his face was all upon the grin. Some of the students have written all the 3 lines. So you had just right there, the servant peeped within the lines written in the paper. The first chuckling voice was heard when he read the 3rd line. When he read the first line, answer is his face was all upon the grin. And the last one is the grin grew from ear to ear when he read the next line or the second line. Whichever you write is correct. Okay. And please, when you are attempting the question of repeating the following, you have to write the complete sentence. You just cannot write the answer. Write the complete sentence, and while the complete sentence, you are going to underline the answer part. Whichever is the answer in that, you are going to underline in order to highlight your answers. Okay. Activity 2 is describe the outcome of the writer's experience of writing. So here again, this is interpretative type of a question. You can write the answer on your own. I have just given you an ideal answer. The outcome of the writer's experience of writing was that he was disturbed by reaction his servant gave on reading what he had written. He decided never to write a funny poem again. I don't think you have any other answer. This is the answer that you have to write. Although it's interpretative, you have to interpret what is given in the extract of the poem, isn't it? So, activity 3 is write the rhyme scheme of the first stanza. The first stanza rhyme scheme was A, B, C, B. That is the correct answer. Now we come to the writing skill. Skill this time. There was reference is given title, poet, theme, rhyme scheme, figure of speech. In the previous times, I have already discussed how to write an appreciation. Here also, when you are writing the appreciation of this particular poem, you have to begin with like the title of the poem is The Height of Ridiculous, written by so and so. The theme of the poem is, then the rhyme scheme of the poem is in the figures of speech, and I like the poem because. So these are the points that you want to include. The appreciation should be written in one single paragraph, which may be of 80 to 100 words to score 5 on 5. If all the points are there, you can score 5 out of 5 in this particular question. Okay. Now, question number 4 is writing skills. Question number 4, writing skills. The first question is go through the paragraph and draw a tree diagram based on it and give it a suitable title. Most of you have forgotten to give the title, so that makes you lose that 1 mark unnecessarily. That 1 mark is retained for the title. So, and the title you get it in the passage itself. See, the passage says generally by commerce we mean trade and auxiliary to trade. Trade is classified into 2 types. See common trade diagram there, breaking there, home trade, retail, wholesale, foreign trade, and auxiliaries, transport, communication, banking. Arrows are missing here because I had to do it uh, on the format. But when you are drawing it in your paper, please see that you put arrows. Otherwise, it means nothing when you draw a tree diagram without the. Now, activity 2 verbal, where the question was on your WhatsApp group, you have received some rules and regulations during the lockdown. So they are given in the form of do's and don'ts. Write them in the form of a paragraph. Use variety of sentences, construction to frame a paragraph and give a suitable title. Again, for title, you have 1 mark. So here I have given the title Save Yourself, Save Others, Follow Rules. You can also say follow rules. You can either say save yourself. You can even say save yourself, save others. You can have any title to that. And according to the passage, I have given this ideal paragraph for you. In this hour of pandemic, we need to follow certain rules as strictly as we will not be able to save ourselves as well as the others. We should always use to avoid direct contact with people, to wash our hands, especially if we come home from outside. As far as possible, we should stay indoors. This is the safest way to avoid this deadly virus. If at all we need to go out proper social distance. We should not eat outside food may carry harmful microbes. We should avoid going to crowded places in order to avoid transmission of the virus. Spitting on public places should be strictly prohibited. All these rules are being consistently given through various media, but if we realize how important it is imposed during lockdown, if we follow them religiously, then we can be safe from the harmful virus and also the sentences can be and there. You can sentence here and it will be your own composition, but the points have to be taken from the question. Whatever points are given in the activity, those points you have to take. You can add on to your points. The sentences will be your own construction, but provided your sentences should be correct grammatically and also there shouldn't be any kind of a spelling mistake. So this is all. If you have to summarize, question number 1 was language study, which contains 10 marks. You can marks, you can score again full 10 on 10. Even if you score 9.5 in your justifying, you can always the advantage of 10 marks when the mark. And then question number 3 is very easy. Poem to learn. Very go with the full be ready for the next paper. Thank you very much.